That's Global Edmonton's news anchor Gord Steinke. He's an institution in his home city. Gord, who is no stranger to an audience, was a rock and roll bass player in the mid-70s, playing with various hard rock bands. After 7 years of playing the Ontario A circuit, Steinke gave up the rock star life to pursue his journalistic ambitions at the University of Regina. While working as the researcher at CBC, he was offered a position on air. An ABC News affiliate in Minneapolis caught one of Steinke's broadcasts. They hired him to do live segments for a new TV news channel.
You know, we met in a bar in Minneapolis because we were hiring Gord to bring him up to Canada. I was traveling with the Oilers at the time, and Mark Janfram, who was our news director at the time, said, "Can you meet with this Gord Steinke? We might be bringing him up to Edmonton and see what you think of the guy." So I was the first guy to meet Gord and talk to him about coming and relocating to Edmonton and being our news anchor. And he's still here all these years later. I think he might have overstayed as well, but he's still here.
Of all the people I've ever worked with in my 30-year career, Gord was my favorite coworker because he's just a nice guy. What you see is what you get. He's fun, he's funny, he's calm, he's reliable. He never tries to steal anyone's spotlight. I mean, Gord, I don't know anyone who doesn't like Gord.
What I find the most interesting about Gord is that he has so many layers and facets to his personality. When you work with him, you're thinking, okay, for sure this guy was meant to be a news anchor. Then you see him on stage as a musician and you think, for sure, this guy's a rocker, born to rock, born to be on stage. Then you see him in his military uniform and you think, okay, definitely this is his career. He's been in the military for 20 years. And then you see him on his bike and you think, this is the real deal. He's actually like a real biker.
First time I met Gord, I'm thinking it was a couple of years after he started here. And it was at a Harley dealership. And I was looking at bikes, and he was looking at bikes. And I went over and introduced myself, and we've been fast friends ever since.
He's currently our honorary lieutenant colonel, which is a ceremonial position that we offer to leading members of the community.
First of all, Gord's commitment to the military and the support of the armed forces is exceptional, and you see Gord in his uniform, especially every year at the No Stone Left Alone ceremony. It gets you a little emotional when you see him, but you know that for Gord is it's just in his blood. I mean, it's just so important to him to support the armed forces and to support the men and women there.
The Kids We Can Society met Gord 11 years ago when we approached him to see whether he'd be a part of our motorcycle rides. We were astounded by his response. There was no hesitation whatsoever.
Gord is, as you know, very well connected to the community. He knows everyone. And he's always happy to be an MC to give us exposure for some of our events.
Gord Steinke, when you watch him working with kids, he's like a kid. I mean, people gravitate to him because they know him from the news, but he's so gentle, and he gets right down at their level and he talks to them and he puts them on the back of the bike and he engages so much.
He's a gentleman. He's got elegance and style, but he's just a down-to-earth guy from Regina who is exceptionally though well-rounded.
Yeah, well, that's always amazed me about Gord is how busy he is. And then, oh yeah, I just wrote a book. What do you mean you just wrote a book? And he always had that great interest in, certainly the book that he wrote about the rum runners and the gangsters and its connection to Moose Jaw and all that.
Gord and I did everything together. I mean, we had like a front row seat to history together. We anchored a bazillion newscasts about elections. We did 9/11. We rang in the year 2000 together. We did live coverage of tornadoes and fires. But I think the most fun stuff were the live sports broadcasts with the Stanley Cup and the Grey Cup parades and the Heritage Classic. All very, very cold events, but very, very fun. I have just loved working with Gord and I have a million memories.
If there's breaking news, if we're on the desk together, if Gord is there, I know everything will be okay because he is so good at rolling with the punches, flying by the seat of his pants, which for me, I'm kind of newer at the job compared to him, and so I just know if he's there, everything's going to be okay.
Congratulations. Nobody deserves any award more than you do. You're one of the hardest working guys, one of the nicest guys, one of the luckiest guys in the world, too. Who goes on holiday and ends up hanging out with Steven Tyler of Aerosmith? Only Gord Steinke.
He's an amazing man. We absolutely love Gord Steinke. And we're honored that he's chosen our organization to support because he does so much more in the community, and we know that.
Gord, I am so proud of you. I miss you. I love you. You deserve this award. It does not mean that you're old. Enjoy it. Be proud of it.
Well, he brings credibility and believability because people trust Gord, and that's what you need in a news anchor. People really, really trust Gord, and you know, you can't develop that kind of trust. It's not something that somebody teaches you. It just happens, and with Gord, it really, really happens. And so I'm really happy to call Gord my colleague for a couple of decades, but you know, I'm more happy to call him my friend.